Intellectual property in China is a major concern. It should be for anybody who is really transferring intellectual property into China.
China, in all honesty, is a disaster in respect to protection of intellectual property. Even today, intellectual property is really not being protected in a worldwide sense. Other places have their problems as well. India has problems with intellectual problem, but of all the countries in Asia, China is the worst.
What we are increasingly seeing people do is look to work through licensing arrangements that are more collaborative, where there is an attempt to actually almost bring the enemy into the camp. That concept of actually getting into a circumstance where there is a mutual understanding of the profit motive and working that through.
There are ways in which you can design your manufacturing to limit your exposure, the exposure of that intellectual property. And many companies have done a very good job of that. What they will do is they will manufacture certain components in China to lower costs, but maybe they and actually put together sub-assemblies in China, but they do the final manufacturing or final putting everything together in another location. A lot of times also there are ways in which you can basically protect your intellectual property by only releasing certain portions of it to exposure in China. And this is how many major corporations are actually doing their manufacturing, so that they limit their risk.
I think the authorities in China are definitely putting a push on this, because in their development cycle a few years ago they needed our money to grow their economy. They no longer need our money, they need our technology. But they know that technology is only going to get transferred if the people who own that technology feel that it's protected.
The Chinese government have put in place, in fact, quite sophisticated IPR laws. The problem at the moment is in the enforcement of those laws. I think progress is being made. I think the Chinese recognise that this is a very important issue. It's a very important issue, in fact, for Chinese businesses, because unless you have IP protection, then Chinese companies themselves aren't going to innovate. So there's a vested interest internally within China. But it is an issue, but it's one in which there are ways in which you can overcome, and with planning, research, and then taking the practical steps, you can still do good business.